Can you share with us another testimonial, something that it really touched your heart and pushed you in the way to say, yes, this is working?
There's a young man last year that we hired um, to help run our camp, and he was graduating from high school. He had been homeless for the last 3 years, going through high school on his own, living on people's couches or living in a car that he had bought. He was working 40 hours a week out in Jordan and going to school full time. And his father was dead, his mother was in prison, and he moved up to Minnesota to live with family that also had issues, so he ended up homeless. He worked his way through school and through high school and was just planning on continuing to work manual labor, but he was a very bright kid we have a lot of, just a great kid. And we met with him, I got to know him, and I ended up taking him up to Concordia University in St. Paul and having him meet with an admissions counselor. And we worked together with Concordia, and he actually just completed his first year of college and made the dean's list this year. So that was one of my favorite stories, because it's not just the little kids, it's the kids that we hire to encourage them that we're able to give some hope for.
I noticed also that you start this camp offering services to very, very young kids. Why do you start with them being so young when you say that the problem starts in third grade?
Well, part of it is to build relationships. Part of it is also that if we don't have something for the little kids, the older kids won't come. Before we ever started this, I spoke with somebody from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety that does inspections of our preschool, but also does inspections of the mobile home parks. And she was telling me that she'd go out to the mobile home parks during the summer, and you'd have 7- and 8-year-old kids who are watching their 3- and 4-year-old brothers. And now that may not be legal, but it's the reality of the situation. Parents are both working, they can't afford to hire daycare, and so they end up with children way too young watching other smaller children. And so by bringing the smaller children in, we free up the older kids to come to the camp.
And how important do you think it is for a child to live their own age? Because you just mentioned that it is not legal, but besides the legal part, do you think that is that fair for a child to be taking care of their younger siblings?
You know, it's not fair, and yet I'm always careful about how I say that, because the parents are making the best choices they can. It's not a great situation, but I don't want to condemn a parent for some of the things that they have to do when it comes to survival. But it's not fair. Kids should be able to be kids, and that's why we don't have a ton of structure even in our group here, because the more structure we've had, the less the kids have liked it. I think kids need to be able to be kids. I don't even like the idea of being overly committed to sports and other activities. I think kids just need free time to be children, not to live adult roles, not to be overbooked so that the parents have free time. Just let them be children. And so that's what I think one of the goals of our camp is.
So it is told that children are the future. What do you think about that? Are they the future or they are the present?
Well, see, my wife was in youth ministry for years, and every time I would say something like, when I first met her 15 years ago, children are our future, she would just say, stop it, they're not. They're our present. They're here right now. These aren't our future. These are the kids we have now, and they are very real, and they are very important, and they are going to be making decisions in the future, but they're making decisions now, and they are our present, and we can learn from them as much as they learn from us. So I want to invest in them now, because they're an important part of our community today.
How do you think other people who want to cooperate with this mission can do it?
Well, we always can use people who want to volunteer, who want to commit to these kids and want to invest in them with their time. The other is, we're a tiny church that has about a $65,000 a year investment into these programs. So financial investments are always important also. So I always tell people praying, volunteering your time, and donating financially are the three big things we want.
Where can they go if they want to cooperate?
They can contact the church at New Creation. We have a website, newcreationshakopee.com, and we also can call us on the phone at New Creation in Shakopee.
Anything else you want to say about this camp?
I think the coolest thing for me is that I didn't look for a Hispanic ministry. That wasn't my goal. Because I don't speak Spanish. I was originally thinking when I came up here that maybe we'd get involved in some sort of Chinese ministries up in the city because my wife speaks Mandarin and she was a missionary in Taiwan, and that was kind of where my passion was. But one of the things that I believe is that God kind of kept opening doors for this and kept saying, this is where you need to be. And so the coolest thing to me is that I don't think it's my vision or my idea. I think it was God's idea, and we've just been following the doors that He keeps opening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.